A big hello and a very good afternoon to all the champs and all the designers. Right, hope you're enjoying your designing. Continuing with the part 7 of layouts, I reckon you must have completed all the lectures from part number 1 to part number 6. Right, in case if you jumped in directly, you got to go back from part number 1 to part number 6 and then watch part number 7. It's never recommended to make haste in designing. It's a job which is done with lots and loads of patience, right? So you need to be patient and understand all 6 lectures and then move to part number 7, right? Okay, let's get quickly started with part number 7 today. And before we get started, let me give you a small recap of what we did yesterday. Not too much. What we were able to do, create a different layout, and instead of using div images, we used logo. Now you can see logo is now an aside, and logo has a background image of div, and banner, instead of having a background image, is now using img src, and so on and so forth. And now you have styling done, and styling is here and the layout is here in front of you. We've been able to develop this layout, and let me do more things about this layout. Imagine I said, do you remember I said we need to make sure that we develop and design more on top divs, right? So a div which is going to come on top somewhere here or somewhere here. So let me see where we can fit in that div. All right, let's carry on and go to index.html. And now after I go to index.html, what I reckon doing is now we have this main logo, then main navigation. Okay, now the header ends right here. So this is where my header ends, and this is where my section starts, and this is the main banner. Before main banner, you mind if I type hello, just to say hello to these guys? Yeah, I can see hello has come here. That means I am at the correct spot. Now let me have another aside, right? And let us call this inquiry, right? Aside, let's call this aside class enquiry. So now I have my aside class, and I call this inquiry, and this aside is inside section, so you have to indent it properly so that it looks inside this section, right? So since we have indented it completely and correctly, now let's take inquiry, right? Okay, now why is this main banner a class? Oh, right. Why is it class? Should have made it ID. So no problem, doesn't matter. Right, we have this main banner here. Wrapper has a main banner class and it has img, doesn't matter. I will say wrapper has w hash. Wrapper has a main banner, right, and it has main banner is a class, and it has another thing, inquiry class. Right, so let me give it a width of let's say about 300 pixels, and height of let's say about 400 pixels or maybe 500 pixels. So let us see first, right? And background as usual red. Why? Because I have to see the alignment, right? Only when I check the alignment will I be able to see different things. So I am not able to see anything at all. Okay, class is main banner, M is capital, B is capital, and M is small, inquiry small. Let's call this let me give it an ID, because this aside is going to have many different things. All right, so let me give it an ID, and let's call the inquiry wrapper aside inquiry, let's call it direct, right? Or we can even call it like this. So let me show you. Even if it's a class, right, doesn't matter. I can say wrapper has main banner, okay, and it has class inquiry. B is capital, I suppose, right? It should work. Right, now you can see it's working absolutely fine. What it has done, it has disturbed every single thing. It has taken all the students out of the screen. So now students are out of school. They are most probably in quarantine. So let's not call them back. But in case if you want to call them back, our main end or we can say anti-COVID-19 here in CSS is going to be the position, because you want that div. Which div? You want this inquiry div, or I say div. Why do I say div? You want this aside, inquiry aside, to come on top of all the divs, sections, asides. You want it to be on top, and in order to make it come on top, you have to assign a position absolute to this div. The moment you assign position absolute, it's coming on top. Most probably the girl here from the left hand side is hidden, so it's not better to hide her. Let's hide her. And this chap here is smiling too much, so let's hide. For that, we'll do float right. If you want your future bright, float right. Okay, why? What has happened? Yeah, because we're using position absolute, right? Because float right will not be applied to position absolute thing. So I'll directly say float right. Float right will make the position absolute, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Let's say position absolute. All right. So now we are having a problem here. Now, how do you solve this problem? Please tell me. If you face this kind of problem, how do you solve this kind of problem? Right? So I'll tell you how to solve this problem. Number one, let this logo div come on top of this, but both are having position absolute. This logo div has position absolute. This logo div has position absolute. Now they are fighting with each other. Now who is going to win the fight here? Right? You decide. Now let me make sure that logo div comes on top of this div first, and then I'll show you rest of the things. Right? So I'll go directly to logo. Okay. That's main logo for you. Okay. And then what I'll do. Okay, now what I will do right here is assign z-index. You can see z-index. Alright, z-index is going to be, let me assign 999 here, 9,999. No, my mathematics wrong, 999. Alright, the moment you say 999, okay, now you can see that means the z-index of this visibility index of this div is more than this div. So now if both are absolute, if both sections, asides, divs, articles, if both are assigned position absolute, how do you decide which one has to come on top of which container will be overridden or which will come on top? We will decide it by giving z-index, right? So now if I give this inquiry div, let's say I'll add one more 9, I'll give this 9999 z-index. So now what will happen? Now this is going to kick him and throw him back, because now the z-index has increased. But in case I'll say 991 right here, now you can see 999 is ahead of 991. So the z-index is set. So the first thing first, and it's achieved. And the second thing that I'm going to do now, because I want this div to come towards, okay, now, okay. Now do you listen to dog barking? Huh? Do you hear that? Okay. If you hear this, then most probably they're having cardiac arrest. Right? I don't know. The moment I start recording lectures, they start barking. Okay, fine. So now let me do one thing first. Now to cope up with this problem, because you want this to float towards right. Now float right is not going to happen, right? Because of many reasons. I can still clear both, but yeah, that's not an option. I'll have to clear the formatting first, right? If I clear the formatting here of this div and then reapply formatting, then yeah, I'll be able to do that. But yes, since we are learning we are learning layout design, how to create layouts, how to align asides, sections, articles, divs, right, or any section in HTML5. The moment you are learning that, so I'll have to show you while dissection, I'll have to dissect it and operate it and then show it to you what is inside. Otherwise I could really manage this by clearing the formatting, so that's not going to happen today. Now what I'll do, I'll create a full div here and then create two divs inside this div. I'll show you how. Now instead of 300 pixels, I'll say, hey brother, you're having 100%. Right? So the moment I give 100% width, it should not vanish, it should vanish all. Now you can see 100% width is right. What has happened when you have given it 100% width? It has taken 100% width available, because position is absolute. So I'll just get rid of this position absolute and then get rid of this float, right? And then okay, now you can see now there is a div on top here. Now if I get rid of this background color and give it height and width only, now you can see, right? Or what you can do right here, because background has to be none, right? So you cannot apply a white background here, right? So and your image should come on top of this div now, right? What it has done, it has hidden the image, right? Now if I say z dash index is equal to 9, what is going to happen? Still nothing, because image is hidden behind this div right now, right? Or maybe image has gone somewhere I don't have any idea about, right? So for that, what we will do, we will just use position absolute and see what has happened to our image. Nothing, image is there, right? Only because if you don't use position absolute, you'll not be able to come on top here. But yeah, we have a problem here. If I say background color is going to be something, some color, I don't want any color anyways. Now you can see it's going from this side. What you got to do is, I will say now I'll have to use a specific background right here, right? So that way position absolute is causing some problem, right? And what I do here, I will say position, I will say position relative. Let me see whether relative works. Yeah, relative position is working to some extent, but yeah, we'll still have to see, right? If I use background color as nothing, will I be able to see? No, it has again thrown out my div, that is the image imgsrc. It's just thrown out imgsrc. So the better for me is to use something like this. Let me do this here. Let me get rid of all. Let me say background is red, alright, and it is here. Okay, but since I want this to be on top, what will I do here? Instead of 100, I will use 80% of, I'll say 500 pixels. Okay, so the moment I use 500 pixels, you will see things are working absolutely right. And now it has to be on top of the image. For that, I'll use position absolute. Now once I use position absolute, the div comes on top of this div, right? So now the only matter of the fact is that I want this div, instead of coming from this side, I want this to come from this side. So if I say left 0, okay, if I say right 0, it's not margin, it's just towards right. Yeah, now you can see just by typing right that you do not take any margin from right side, it's automatically going to come from the right side. You can see this right here. Now this is coming towards the right side. Alright, and what it has done, it has taken 500 pixels. I'll give 300 pixels of height, right? And what I'll do right here, let me keep 500 pixels here. And what is that I'm going to do? So I will say right 1, okay, sorry, right 0 and left 1. So let me see what happens. Yeah, absolutely fine. So now there's no margin towards, there's no space towards right hand side, because I said you got to be towards right, and there's no margin towards right hand side, so that's why it's gone to right. So by giving right 0, it will float automatically towards right, but yeah, it is going to go outside this div, so that you have to take care of, right? And for that, what I'll do, I'll say margin right 10%. So margin right 10% is going to make sure that it comes just like this. Maybe 7% is sufficient. Yeah, 7% is sufficient. Let me zoom in and zoom out. Let me see with different platforms what is going to happen to this. Now it remains stable. It remains stable. Now you can see the div is where it is. Even if you change the resolution, doesn't matter what the resolution is, right? So div remains there only, right? So the first thing is achieved. And second thing, margin top is going to be, let's say, about 5 pixels. I'm going to use 5 pixels margin top. Absolutely fine. 15 pixels. Absolutely fine. Width 400 pixels. Absolutely fine. Now my form is ready. So now we had to do many things. I told you we're going to hide this sick here, right? Because he was smiling. I don't like his smile. Maybe, who knows? And let me just decrease 390 px of width. Yeah, now everything is visible. Will you be surprised if I do something like this? If I say background is black, you'll say, sir, what are you doing? Why are you setting background as black? I'll say, hey, wait a second. I can give opacity of 0.8. The moment I give opacity, you get see-through. Do you see that you're getting see-through? And the smiling face is visible again. Congratulations and celebrations. Okay? The smiling face is visible once again. Or you can say, I want to give more opacity, 0.7, more opacity, right? It depends on how much opacity you want. So you get that opacity. The second thing and the third thing, let me have box dash shadow 1 pixels, right? 1 pixels, 1 pixels, and again is the white. Again is black. I'll be using a bit of white. So now box shadow is there. Maybe FFF, and why am I using only 3 sides? Top, right, left, and bottom. Now you can see it has slight box shadow. Let me give it more. 2 pixels, 3 pixels, 1 pixels, 2 pixels. Now the box shadow is there because it's not visible because the color of box shadow is itself white. So let me try and give black, right? So it's completely black box shadow now. Yeah, but it's no fun giving box shadow to black. It's not working, but box shadow is not working. But yeah, I suppose border dash radius is going to work. So let me give it border radius of 5 pixels. Yeah, you can see corners now. Slightly, corners are rounded now. So box shadow is going to round corners slightly. Yeah, it looks much better now, right? So let us quickly go and style it. Now, what do you want inside inquiry? Yeah, inquiry will take something. And this is the first time we will be using a table. All right, and as you know, table has rows, and rows is, how do you recognize rows? By TR. And every row has a division. How do you recognize division? By TD. TD is TD and TR is TR. So this is, first row will contain 2 columns. First row of the table will have 2 table cells or table columns. So let me have the first one. Enter your name. Right, so I'm asking user to enter his name, and for that I will use input type is equivalent to text, and let me have common class is equivalent to txt text box. Right, so let me see the first one. Yeah, absolutely fine. All right, so let me quickly copy them. Enter your name, your email, right, your contact number, right, and again one more thing, enter your message, right, and all are having the same textbook class. Enter your message, and then I'm going to take a blank sheet and I'll say input type button, and value is equal to submit inquiry. Right, now our table is ready. So let me style first. Okay, what color do you want? I want color to be white because I'm using black, right? So inquiry div or aside is going to have white color. Now you can see things have started coming in white. Okay, and my favorite, letter spacing 1 pixels. Right, so another thing, padding of 10 pixels because I want spaces from corners. So I'll give padding of 10 pixels. Now you can see it's coming nice and easy and best for you guys. Who knows what is it? Right. Okay, now everything is coming absolutely fine. All right. Okay, now everything is fine. Let me go and call that we are having inside inquiry, there is a class known as TextBox class. Fine. What you got to do with TextBox class, and say width 300 pixels. So let me see whether 300 pixels width. Yeah, 300 is too much. My god, it's gone out. 220 pixels. Fine, 220 pixels is absolutely fine. And let me go ahead here and say line height is equal to 20 pixels. Line height means the spaces between the lines. You can see the moment I give line height, the height of the line from this line to this line, the height is increased. So the moment I say 30 pixels, what is line height? Div has a line height. Now you can see the height from this text to this text, or from this to this. Now you can see it will increase. Yeah, it has increased to some good amount of extent. Now this is what happens by giving line height. Line height, I repeat, will increase the space between two lines. Okay, and let me give height here of text boxes 22 pixels, right? So I don't mind them being 22 pixels, 42 pixels. Okay, they are now mote, so we want 32 pixels, or let us close it down on 30 pixels. Done. Right, and now on top of it, what I got to do is tell table, the hey table, you got to give cell padding of 5 and cell spacing of 5. There has to be padding of 5 pixels between cells and spacing of 5 pixels between cells. Now it's too much spacing and padding, because what you have done is, now let me see, padding is already here. So I'll reduce padding by 5 pixels. No, I'll not reduce, but increase padding by 20 pixels. Alright, so now it's absolutely fine. And what I got to do is, here I'll say 200 pixels. Right, so now my text box is 200 pixels, or maybe 210 pixels may suffice. Yeah, 210 pixels is absolutely alright. So now this one here, in enter your message has to be, instead of input type text, I will make it like this. So I will just delete it. I don't want it. I'll say I don't want you, right? Or I want something like this. Text area. I want a text area, and the text area belongs to class text text box also. Alright, I'll close text area. It's not a self-closing tag, it's a separate closing tag, right? Because you may want to write something in the text area, so we provide you space for writing that. Now you can see this has been changed to text area. Now you can see, now here you can write message. This is the text area where you can write a message, right? So I will write down here, instead of text area, let us use text area class, right? I'll say directly, let's call it class directly. So I'll say text area will have minimum dash width of 300 pixels. Now why am I targeting width? Minimum height of 300 pixels. Okay, now what is it? Not closing the brace. Okay, fine. What is it now? Minimum HEIGST. Why do I misspell? I don't know why I miss. Oh my god, 300 pixels is something God Almighty knows. So let's say 60 pixels. Suffice? No, it's not going to suffice. 80 pixels. Will it suffice? Not going to suffice. 180 pixels. Now it will go outside the boundary. No, absolutely fine. Alright, so let's keep it 190 pixels and give it width of 210 pixels. Now this is your text area. Now write your name here. Right, Fahim. Right, and write your name, write your name, write your name. What have we done? Right, so transparency is quite epidemic here and quite evident here. So let me increase. It's too much transparent. 0.9. Yeah, absolutely fine now. So it's, no, 0.8 is much better. Fine. Okay, absolutely good. So let me change the values here. Enter your name, and then we have enter your email, then enter your contact, and then enter your message, and then submit inquiry. And this is input type button, and it belongs to class button BT, and all the buttons inside the class will be treated as same. Fine. So now we have to style.btn, and what I do, I'll say, hey, your width is also going to be 220 pixels, do not worry, right? Or maybe it's not 220, it's only 210 pixels. So your width is going to be 210 pixels and your height is going to be 40 pixels. Fine. So now my inquiry form looks fabulous and it looks charming. Let me take a look at the time. We still have ample amount of time remaining. Okay, let me carry on with this and say, okay, now fine. I'll say background, right, and color. Let me choose a very good color, and yeah, I'll choose background color from here and I'll keep the same color, and so that it matches as that of this. No, it doesn't match. So I'll say color. I'll have to make sure that it matches the color of, what color is this? Let me see. Main header has this color, so I'll use same color right here. Okay, because it should match. Now you can see clearly it's matching. And what I do, border 1 pixels, solid hash, now more darker, right, go towards the darker side and give it a border. Now you can see it's getting border as well. And text dash transform. Now what you got to do is make everything capital here, uppercase, submit inquiry, text transform. Now let us say my favorite, letter spacing 1 pixels. Now text transform is going to take and convert everything to capital. Now everything is fine, and let me say color hash FFF, which is white, right? Okay, fine. Now this is your submit inquiry. And another thing that is here, someone has recommended restaurant for me. I should call police. Okay, and now what I do is cursor is going to be pointer, and .btn is going to take a hover, right? And I say whenever anyone passes mouse over this, what you got to do is font size, increase the font size to 16 pixels, and that's it. And I can even say that text dash decoration over line. I've already shown you over line. Okay, now fine. Let's see now. Now you can see this is submit inquiry, right? And this is where you write your name. Yeah, name is coming just like this. So let me go to input type, which is text box, and let me give padding dash left to 10 pixels, right? Because it's overlapped. Now you can see it's not. What happened? Inquiry text box says padding left for 10 pixels. Now why it has created problem for me? Why has it created problems? I do not know. Let me create 200 pixels, then I'll have to keep it 200 pixels maybe. Yeah, fine. So now when I enter, now you can see it's not starting around the corner. I write my email fahim.khn@gmail.com. Contact 9419441234. Hello sir, how are you? Right, I am a new web designer and my name is Moomin, and I urge becoming a well-formed professional DESIGNER designer, right? And say please help me. So I will write it back to you. Now in case if you're sending me a message, I'll write back and say may God help you, right? And then submit the inquiry. Now you can see that opacity is there, transparency is there, and what we have been able to achieve today is have two DIVs, just create our website just like we creating the website just like we create, what do you call that, a magazine, right? The cover page of the magazine. So that is web 2.0 for you. Web 2.0 wants you to cross all the boundaries of design and develop and design whatever you want. All right, and today's lecture and yesterday's lecture contained about 50% of HTML5 and 50% of HTML, XHTML, which is before HTML5. Right, and what you got to do is practice very hard and let me know. And for you, I have a very good surprise, and that surprise is this. I want you to develop exactly same thing, exactly same thing, and send it to me. How are you going to send it to me? I'll tell you how. HTML. Right, so I'll go back to my web directory and I'll show you how do you send it back to me, right? And I'll just upload it for you in case if you don't have any idea of the website. I'm uploading this site for you, so let me try and upload. And my main page here is, I'll go to my website, that's HTML website, and this is the entire website that we have been able to make. It's basically module 2, or we can say design 2, right, or layout 2 to be more precise and to be more. So HTML5 class is already there, so I'm going to copy all the code here. Fine, so let me copy all the code here. Fine. Alright, so by the time it copies the code, I'll pause the video and come back once it's done. Okay, now I'm back. Since all the code has been now copied to nitsrinagar.com, you can clearly see the site is live here over HTTPS, and you have a very secure connection with the site. You can visit and check. The layout design is in front of you. Alright, what you got to do is, this is the URL. I'll use magnifier to magnify it, maybe, in case you're not able to see the URL. I'm using HD though, but yeah, nitsrinagar.com/HTML5 class. HTML5 class. I repeat, HTML5 class after nitsrinagar.com. And here you can see the model, right? After you see this, and I need exact copy. You can even see the code right here, and I need exact copy. Do not inspect element and copy it, right? Do not play around with your instructors, and do not make fool of your instructors. Practice, and let me know. I am coming up with great, big, complex, responsive, strapped designs for you only when you practice them hard, and then when you know the basics, right? Only when you set your basics right will you be able to complete complex designs and complicated designs, right? Unless you don't know the basics, you'll not be able to do that. Today's design was just to give you idea about layouts and section and div alignments only. And then purely HTML5 will be starting most probably after the next class. Maybe it will still take 1 or 2 classes till the time all the layouts are clear. And I need the same copy, right? And for you, I have kept it over here. And before we wind it up, let me give you the overview. What have we done today? What have we done is this. We have created one div right here. You can see what we did. We created a section and called it main banner yesterday, right? And inside main banner we already have image, right? And on top of the image, what we were able to do, create an aside inquiry. And what we did with that inquiry was something very unique, right? And now if you go to inquiry, look what we have done to inquiry. We have given width and height to inquiry, and we have set the background color to black, position of absolute. Why position absolute? So that it can come on top here. Alright, and opacity 0.8 so that it gets the see-through effect. Alright, right is 0 is going to now do rest of the job for you, right? You can see is going to do job. Otherwise it's going to come from here. You're telling that from right side you have all the margins free, right? And now it's moved towards the right. It moves towards the right side. And margin right. Why? Because it moves towards the extreme right of the website boundary, because position absolute knows no boundary. Once you say position absolute, it's on top of everything. No boundaries are there. And then we do margin right 7% manually so that it's aligned where you want it to be. And after that, margin top. Why? Because it should come just slightly here. Otherwise, it will look like overlapped with the menu bar. And then border radius just to give rounded corners. And color white is going to be the foreground color, because over white you can have white, over black you can only have white. You can have yellow. Yellow can be good as well. And then letter spacing, my favorite. Give a bit of spacing. Padding, yeah, it should not come with corners. If I don't give padding, now you can see the effect of not giving padding. Yeah, it looks shabby. By giving padding, you are giving spaces from all 4 corners By only typing padding, it means padding top, left, right, and bottom. Line height is going to just, you can see, increase the amount of line that it usually takes between lines. So that means space between first line and second line is going to be 30 pixels, and from second to third 30, and third to fourth 50. It doesn't matter how many lines you have. And then with the text box, you made a table, and you said table has cell spacing of 5 and cell padding 5. Space between the cells is 5 pixels, and padding inside the cells is 5 pixels. And then you made rows and columns. Every row has 2 columns. First row has 2 columns, second row has 2 columns, third row has 2 columns, fourth row has 2 columns, fifth row also has 2 columns, but you can see fifth row, column number first of the fifth row is empty because you require submit button to be here. It doesn't look nice here. Had it been here, it would not be nice, right? And that's it. And then what you did, you styled your button, the text area, right? And the second thing that you did not notice is that all the text boxes are having same class. All right, so that's why we had to call them ones. Right, you can say all the text boxes are called ones and aligned only once. Right, where did I? Okay, all the text boxes have same class. That's why they're called ones. Width, height, and padding, and that's it. Why did I give padding left? So that text doesn't start around the corners. And do practice. The site is already online. You can go online and practice very hard and create the same exact carbon copy, and let me know down in the comment section if I can help you, or if you are facing any problem. You can message me as well. Until the time you create this wonderful website, I wish you all the best and do complete your homework. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.